I'm gonna rank every single Spider-Man video game that's ever been created from 1982 to 2024. I've been wanting to make this video for over 10 years. Now let's go! Diving right into the very first Spider-Man game ever created, Spider-Man 1982 for the Atari. All you do is climb up and try not to get knocked down. I know it seems laughable, but it is significant because this is Spider-Man's first appearance, and that gets him a 4.5 on this one. I'll be ranking these video games with this list, the worst being terrible, the best being superior with the corresponding emojis. Spider-Man Quest Probe. I couldn't get through more than 5 minutes of this POV walkthrough game. It didn't feel like a Spider-Man game at all. 2 out of 10. Fast forward to 1989, we've got Dr. Doom's Revenge. It's a pretty brain-dead arcade-style video game, but it gets some points here because you see Cap for the first time and you get to switch between characters. The Amazing Spider-Man 1990. I swear, these games just get funnier and funnier. Look how they make him move. You got Tiny Spider-Man on the left, Giant Spider-Man on the right, just like painful to get through. 1.5 out of 10. The Amazing Spider-Man vs. Kingpin 1990. Guys, I'm not going to spend too much time on these old retro games. They're all pretty much the same, very similar in terms of gameplay and user interface. But don't worry, the video is going to get better as it progresses. We just have to get through some of these old, rougher games. I'm going to give this one a 2.5 out of 10. Let's move on. Well, I guess that game did really well because they created a second one for Game Boy. Same exact games you've been playing, except now they're black and white. Don't get me wrong, I loved the Game Boy, especially the Game Boy Advance, but this is just brutal. Of course, they made a third installment, Attack of the Spider Slayers. This one's a little more promising. It opens up, it's in color, Spider-Man gives you this mission, but then you get into the game and it's the same exact thing, but in color. Spider-Man Maximum Carnage for the Super Nintendo. This is the first one that I actually remember being very popular. This sold a bunch of copies in the 90s. First introduction to Carnage. You could play as Spider-Man or Venom. This was huge back then, guys. Not much freedom. You were very restricted in the game in terms of movements and what you could do, but you could still walk around, beat up thugs. It's a walkthrough type of game. I give this one a 4 out of 10. There is some significance here. 1995 Spider-Man Lethal Foes. I actually never got the chance to play this one. I believe it was a Japanese exclusive game. Let's take a look here. The graphics look actually pretty good along with the colors. But again, it's the same side-to-side punch, jump, kick, run game. Spider-Man Separation Anxiety. For the Sega Genesis, people were really excited for this game. It was the second installment to Spider-Man Maximum Carnage, but when they played it, people said the graphics were actually worse. It felt rushed and not like the other game. Spider-Man the Animated Series for Sega Genesis, same year, 1995. If any of you have seen this TV show, you will give extra points to this game. The gameplay, the controls, it's not perfect. As you can see, there's better 3D rendering here. This game was based on one of the best Spider-Man TV shows out there. I give this one a 4.5 out of 10. Flash forward to 1996, we have Spider-Man Web of Fire for the Sega. Guys, I'll be honest, I've never heard of this game. I've never played it. It looks kind of cool, but we're going to go ahead and skip it because up next is the money. Spider-Man 2000, developed by Neversoft for the PS1. This game is legendary. It opens with a great monologue from Stan Lee that everybody remembers. Black Cat is your guide throughout the game.
Spider-Man? Last time I checked, I was Spider-Man. My camera! No!
See ya, chump. This game laid the foundation for all future Spider-Man games. An open-world, linear game with tons to do and lots of Marvel characters, including my favorite, Venom. These guys nailed the character nearly 25 years ago. This is who I think of when I think of Venom. Every single level in this game is unforgettable, just totally iconic. No, they didn't get the physics of the web swinging down yet in this game, but everything from the storyline to the character development to all the unlockables to the amazing quotes like this.
Being Spider-Man has given me a lot and taken a lot away, but one thing never changes. My responsibility to use my powers for others before myself, no matter what the cost. There are innocent people at Omnitech and they need our help right now. I won't let them down. Then I'll stop Venom. And this time, it's for the last time.
Like, he just sounds like Spider-Man. Rino Romano killed it in this role. This game is phenomenal. The cutscenes make the game, honestly. I could watch these cutscenes over and over and over. Everything about this game I just love. And that's why I give it a 10 out of 10. Then we got a sequel, Spider-Man 2 Enter Electro.
Alright, Chuckles. You're gonna tell me everything you know.
I ain't telling you spit.
I thought you'd say that.
Only 1 year later, after the first Spider-Man's game success, Vicarious Visions came out with a sequel game. And there's definitely some differences here that I want to talk about. This time around, you can actually explore the streets of New York. It's a cool touch, unlike the first one where you can't touch the ground. I remember the boss battles being exceptionally hard in this game. While this was a good game, it didn't feel the same as the first one. And I honestly think it has to do with Venom being missing. Overall, it's worth playing, and I'd give it an 8.8. Spider-Man the movie game, PS2. A lot of people dumped on this game. They didn't really like it. I'm actually kind of a big fan. It feels like a photorealistic version of the Neversoft 2000 Spider-Man game, except you get Tobey Maguire voicing it, as well as most of the cast of the movie. This game loses points for the web physics, obviously. It's kind of ridiculous. It's definitely wonky. He's pretty much just flying with webs. They're not attached to anything. They didn't figure it out yet. The combat was pretty good. There's always thugs on every building. The missions weren't that memorable, neither were the boss fights. My favorite part of this game is the pinhead bowling mini game. I remember having the time of my life swinging down the bowling lane, knocking down the webbed up guys. This game is a solid 7 out of 10. I don't care what you say. Spider-Man 2 for PlayStation 2 is a different story. This game is regarded as one of the best Spider-Man games of all time, mainly due to the web physics. They got it down in this game. Your web's only attached to buildings. It's realistic swinging. This is the first time we've seen anything like this. Me personally, I don't even really remember most of the missions or the boss battles. They're not that memorable besides the balloon and the pizza mission. But I'm not crapping on this game. Once again, they got almost the entire cast of the movie to voice their characters. That's huge. Definitely not my favorite Spider-Man game, but I do respect it, and I give it an 8.5. Ultimate Spider-Man 2005. If you played this game, you remember it. This game was like stepping straight into a comic book. It was absolutely ahead of its time. Playing as Spider-Man in this game holds up almost 20 years later. This is still so much fun to free roam the city. Web swinging is perfect, the physics are down, but most importantly, this is still, after 20 years, the only game that you can stop and switch characters in a Spider-Man game. I loved playing as Venom in this game. He was a menace. I loved how he had to feed on people to survive, and you had to get your health bar back up as you were getting shot at. This game was sick. These aren't the only things that give this game massive points. It also had a great storyline, great characters, and overall just a really fun experience playing this. That's why I'm giving it a 9.7 out of 10. Marvel Nemesis Rise of the Imperfects 2005. I played this on PS2. It wasn't a Spider-Man game, but he was a playable character.
I don't have much time.
This game was like Super Smash Bros, but with Marvel characters. It was so much fun. Not a popular game. I didn't know anyone else who had it, but I sunk some hours into it. Overall, not much depth to this game. There are some really cool moves. Mortal Kombat kind of game. Most people would score this much lower, but I really enjoyed this game, which is why I'm giving it a 7.2 out of 10.
You gotta be kidding!
Let me stop for a moment and give an honorable mention to the Ultimate Alliance games. I don't know how I never played these games, but I didn't, so it wouldn't really be right for me to rank these. So let's move on. Spider-Man 3, 2007. This was the final game of the trilogy from the movie series. I played this on PlayStation 2, and I was honestly kind of disappointed. The black suit really saved this game. It was the best part, balancing between the red suit and the black suit. If you wore the black suit too long, you started to lose control and you'd get this black aura around your screen. Other than that, the game is not that memorable, and it's arguably worse than the second and first one in terms of graphics. This is the best part of the game right here, when you have to hit button combos to try to break free from the black suit. Sometimes you could, sometimes you couldn't. This was the best part of the game. Other than that, you're not missing out on much. If you play this game, this is what you're going to be doing for the majority of the time. .4 out of 10, dude. I don't know what happened here. Up next is 2007 Spider-Man Friend or Foe. I remember this game being really fun for about 2 hours. It's fun to try all the different characters, but once you've tried everyone, you realize it's just the same game repeating itself over and over in different maps. I remember there being massive marketing behind this game, and it was kind of a letdown. I give it a 5.4 out of 10. Spider-Man Web of Shadows comes out a year after Friend or Foe, and it was awesome. This one was out for Xbox, PlayStation, Wii, I think Nintendo DS. Everyone was playing this game.
Get ready for a world of pain!
The highlights of this game is the crazy plot where symbiotes take over New York, and specifically, you have to choose between red and black suited choices throughout the game, aka good or evil choices. The outcome of the game would depend on which choices you made, so there were several different ways the game could end. This is personally not my favorite Spider-Man game. I thought parts of it were a little sloppy, but I totally get the hype. That's why I'm giving it a solid 8.4 out of 10. Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions. I played this for the PS3, and I was pleasantly surprised. It was a short game, but it was full of good content. The story made sense, everything tied together. You got to see 4 different cool versions of Spidey that you got to play as. This game earns a solid 8.5 out of 10. 1 year later, Beanox comes out with Spider-Man Edge of Time. This game was a certified stinker. I think it's the only Spider-Man game that I didn't finish. I just put it down. I just lost interest. They have this crazy story with Miguel O'Hara and Peter Parker going back and forth from the past to the future, but the entire game takes place in one building that you can't leave. It's not fun, and it doesn't feel like a Spider-Man game to me at all. 4.4 out of 10. This one was just a cash grab. Up next is The Amazing Spider-Man 2012. I played this on PS3, and I don't even really remember it much. That tells me what I need to know here. I remember beating it really fast and being like, yo, is that it? One cool thing I did like in this game is you could slow down time with your spider sense, and you can kind of like use precognition to go where you want to go before you actually do. But it's not Andrew Garfield voicing the character. None of the characters are in the cast, I believe. This game, it was kind of a stinker. Let's give this one a loose 5.8 out of 10. Boom, 2 years later, 2014, we get The Amazing Spider-Man 2. This was another one that I don't even think I finished it. It seems like it's going to be better at first than the first game, but you quickly realize it's very rushed, it's underdeveloped, it's glitchy, it's not what it should be. This game was like an iPhone app. I'm giving it a 5.1 out of 10. 4 years later, I don't know what happened, but Insomniac decided to give us the gift from God. 2018, Marvel's Spider-Man. The game that the world had been waiting for. A classic, good Spider-Man game with incredible graphics, incredible detail, incredible voice acting. Yuri Lowenthal sounds like Spider-Man.
Hey, where you going? I'll clear a path. Follow me.
It was really refreshing to play a Spider-Man game that wasn't tied to another series or a movie. The plot was really good. I loved Martin Lee and the Demons as the villains. I didn't like playing the MJ missions. That will bring the game down a little bit. But overall, this game was a huge success. So much fun. This is exactly what Spider-Man needed after a series of crappy games. You see Batman getting all these sick games. And I do definitely see some hints of the Arkham games in Spider-Man here. Overall, this game well deserves a 9.4 out of 10. A+. Jump 2 years into the future, Insomniac cranks out a Miles Morales solo game for the PS5. At first, I was concerned this was just a cash grab. I didn't know how good it was going to be. It came out really quick after Spider-Man, but I actually ended up really enjoying this game. It had elements that Spider-Man didn't have. They definitely made Miles different. He's super OP compared to Spider-Man, so it's almost hard to go back to play as Spider-Man. But they gave him his own story. They kept it interesting. They kept it relevant. I give this game a 9.1 out of 10. Last but not least, we've saved possibly the best for last, Marvel's Spider-Man 2 2023. The amount of detail, focus, attention, and dedication to the character that Insomniac put into this game is unparalleled. This game is a direct improvement from its predecessor. This game is so much better. Just from the ability to web glide, you can fly across the city. Now the city is twice as big. Less of those Mary Jane missions, more engaging missions in general. I liked Kraven the Hunter as a villain, but I loved the Black Suit even more. This is definitely the most we've ever been able to interact with the Black Suit. Harry Osborn's adventure and the story of Venom in this game is just absolutely crazy. You do get to play as Venom, but it's a very limited amount of time. But with all the upgrades and the unlockables and the things that you can find in the city, you have tons to keep you busy. You can honestly just spend hours free roaming the city. We've never had a more detailed map of Manhattan than we do here. It would be an absolute disgrace to give this game anything under a 9.8 out of 10. Any other Spider-Man games that I missed, I simply did not know about them, or I just haven't played them, so I don't feel like I can rank them. I don't know if you guys noticed, but there was no ads in this entire video. I'm doing this entire thing for free, just for fun, really. I've wanted to make this video for probably 15 years now. So if you're still here watching, I really appreciate it. If you want to subscribe, that would be awesome. Maybe I'll do more of these in the future. We'll see what happens, but thanks for watching.